Hey folks, welcome to our latest episode of Clan from the Stands. I'm glad to report we didn't look like it was going to be this way. Phil's come down with something, what might not make it. Chris was not in, and then he's in. But we are at full strength, I would say. Well, maybe at like 90% strength, right? I think hopefully you feel better, Phil. I know you've been suffering from this. It's this time of year with the little ones picking up. That's it. You've got the good stuff, mate. I'm more of a hot toddy guy, but you're going with the you know what, those tell you what, that beer's cheap, right? That's it. You get your little machine at home, Phil. You got a good setup at home there, mate. That doesn't cost £6 a pint, so we're okay with that. Listen, we had to do it. We were going to record last night. I'm glad we didn't, because so Phil, it was lucky you called off last night. It was almost like you had that intuition that
Yeah.
something was going to happen, and here we are tonight. And well, I mean, usually we'd be just, as always, just going right into the games, how we're feeling after the recent run of results, but we can't do that tonight, boys, because we've had another, again, in true clan fashion, another bombshell. Mitchell Heard is no longer with the Glasgow Clan. News drop, I don't know, maybe what, 4 hours ago, maybe something like that. I don't know. Yeah, a matter of hours ago. It dropped on social media. Obviously, our WhatsApp groups blew up. Um, Again, Mitchell Heard, some, I would argue, some would say, almost the identity of this team under Corey Nielsen since his tenure, in terms of the big personality on and off the ice. And yeah, and was really a kind of clutch guy for his last year. I know there've been some questions asked about, he'd been patchy in form at the start of the season, and there was definitely some people asking about what's going on. I don't know if it's related or not. We only know what we've been told on social media, but I'm going to open it up. Like Phil, I'll bring you in first, because I feel like, yeah, you talk the least. Well, actually, that's not fair. Chris probably does, but I'll let you get first say on this one, in terms of just like shock, disappoint. Like, where are you with it? Like, in terms of this, it feels like, and listen, this is in context of like a number of signings. For like, so there is like clan context to this as well. This feels though different, right? This one.
Yeah, definitely. Just minding my own business a day at work, doing my thing, and a couple of bleeps, opened the ups for you guys, filling me in. Devastated when I seen what it was. Literally 3 weeks ago, when me and Colin done the cast, I was sitting singing his praises, exactly as you say, his face of the clan, big future. He's saying all the right things. Pretty much fucking love bombed us, didn't he? um, and now with a statement, which isn't even a statement, it's just a general dusting of information. Like, that's not a statement. A statement's it, they need to give us more than that, because it's whatever you don't tell fans, they just make up. So I'm sure we'll hear the rumour mill for the next week or two. That'll be grinding away. Um, I just obviously I don't think he's left in good terms. At least they normally say personal reasons or something, but it was just it's the fans I feel sorry for, Ross. In football, that wouldn't happen. See, at a higher like a professional level at football, they don't just put a statement out and say, "Oh, such and such has parted with the club." I don't know what gives, and it's not just Clan that's guilty here, it's all the Elite League is guilty as far as I'm concerned. When players leave mid-season, it's just a party terms and no explanation, and fans don't get told anything.
Yeah.
It's really poor for the Clan. I'm hoping there's going to be a follow-up to tell everybody, no, even if you can't tell them exactly what happened, you need to give them more than that. But just with regards to the team, that for the team is a massive blow. I just says to Colin before we came on, that's two signings we need to make to replace him, in terms of we don't have anybody that will stand up for their teammates really now, and we're going to miss his goals massively.
Yeah, and it's
That's
Anfield
what,
is great. Like, I think he was like, I've been very critical, I think, in recent years of the clan, like our lack of creativity, and and you call it for, you a little, that little bit of magic, right? He's the one guy that certainly had that move. Listen, do you think, Chris? I'll bring you in, and then we'll get Colin's thoughts. Chris, like, uh, Phil hit on a couple of things that, again, I'm very aligned to you, Phil. Like, in terms of, to me, there's only really three. general buckets of what's happened here. Either he's decided he wants to move on because there's something else, right? That can happen, which is fine. I feel usually there's some context like that will come out if that's the case, right? We've just we've decided it's not working, which we all think is unlikely in terms of his playing on the ice, right? In terms of what he brings on the ice. And then the third one is just like there's something that's like I don't know, like I don't know if it's disciplinary or like there's maybe it's a bust up with the coach. There's something something that's not to do with either of those two things. And I think you're right, Phil. You can at least put it in a bucket and you can say generally, hey, if it's something like that, you can just generally say, look, it was you can if it was a disciplinary thing, you can say disciplinary. If it was like difference in terms of like where the club's going and stuff like that, and it's a mutual thing. I just think you're right because what happens is we've already started to hear it, right? You already start to see online, everyone's starting to ask and make things up. But the question I want to come to you, Chris, with that. So first of all, Chris, a two-part for you because I know you've been watching this league for a long, long time. So one is obviously just your reaction to what Phil's just said. Anything different or whatever. And the second bit is we did also have something this week in terms of the Fife Flyers with a player leaving. I don't know if you saw that in the Elite League forum. Fife came out with a fairly strong statement against that. And again, it's one of those things. It's he said, she said. But I just wonder, Chris, as well, like Phil, to your point, like, is there a systemic issue in this league with the way that players are treated and the way the league's run? That's why we get a lot of things like this seem to happen. I guess is part number two, Chris, for you.
Yeah. To answer part number two, I think you might be right in that, Ross. I think goalposts move a lot in a minority sport, kind of in a hand-to-mouth day-to-day UK EIHL, and somebody was promised something at Fife, and then it was going to be taken away from them potentially, if that's what they're saying. And yeah, the Heard thing, I think you brought up three possibilities. It could be a mixture of all three, actually. I mean, clearly his form had dipped. We all spoke about it, and he went down the lines as well before eventually being released. Or if that was how it was. But certainly released from his contract, whether it was him or whether it was the club. Subsequently, we've heard a few different rumours. But I think, yeah, you're right, Ross. We need some clarity on it, as to. Although, yeah, if there are some of the rumours are to be believed, then you'll never get that clarity coming from the club directly. So, yeah, the time will tell over the next few days, I'm sure.
Okay, Colin, what's your reaction to Mitchell Heard's sudden departure?
It's kind of weird, right? Because it's either, like we said, we don't know, right? And to kind of back up what Phil says, you've got a lot of fans that have invested money in Mitchell Heard stuff. I mean, he even launched a Heard that kind of range of clothing the other day, and there was a lot of people, like kids especially, were buying stuff. Now, from that aspect, I'd hope the club would do something because essentially these young kids are spending money on stuff for players that literally have left with no to little explanation. So I think from that aspect, I mean, it might be something that they can't basically share with us, like for whatever reason. It might be personal reasons, nobody really knows, but it seems to be very sudden, and I don't think it's one of those ones that's been going on for a while, because if you look at it, he never played at the weekend, did he, against Guildford nor Sheffield, and then this comes out basically 2 days after those games. So was something whatever's happened or discussions that have happened, but you normally get the fact that they've wished him well and everything else is irrelevant, really, because that's just a kind of to paraphrase Still Game, birthday card pish, that kind of way. Like they always do that, but time will tell whether he pops up in the IHL or he pops up abroad.
Rumors about maybe Belfast. That's
Belfast.
What I've heard.
Somebody else has said he's going to Wichita Thunder in the ECHL. No, like, whatever will happen now. But for us, he's not a Clan player anymore. So
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So he's not a Clan player. I think he was good because he was as close to the kind of fan interaction that Fitzy gave us. But recently his performances have kind of tailed real. I mean, he 2 points in 6 games in the Challenge Cup. And
the thing is, Colin, do you not think here though? And I think Phil, this is when you were poking at. I actually think like I'm not being dramatic, but see if any other player on our roster this had happened, it wouldn't be the same. Like it wouldn't feel the same. It would be like, and I mean, even Schwartz. I mean, we all love like you'd be disappointed. This feels like,
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? Like Chris, Phil, like my
I
reading this
do.
is just like my instinct is that, like, and I've probably, and we've been talking, and I'm just not convinced by Corey Nielsen. And this is another thing. And look, again, if maybe something's happened that we don't know about, and it's like it was just like Corey, there was no choice. It was like and if that's the case, we'll probably never know, like you say, Chris. So that I know that that's a possibility. But to your point earlier, Chris, like maybe it's a mixture of things. Is it like I worry because he felt like he's a guy that like Corey kind of hung his hat on a little bit in terms of the culture of the team, the identity of the team, and then to allow this to happen. Like to me as a Clan fan, I'm really concerned now about this. Like this season was already, we had a concerning start for a number of reasons that we kind of felt somewhat out of the Clan's control, and you make your best. But now you're kind of going, this feels like a big erosion of the cut. Like to me, I don't know. He is a big personality, and like we've all played in competitive sports, and you have those figures. They hold a lot of sway. I just wonder that unless he's a negative impact and that's why he's had to go, but he's just never seemed that way. Chris, you were going to come in there maybe with a thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, and this kind of falls on what Colin said as well about having the merchandise range and stuff, with his name and stuff, and kids buying into it. And then we had the situation with he was doing the interviews with Murph and stuff like that as well. Yeah, so really, in summary, what that means is he's a franchise player. Yeah, he was our franchise player, and what's actually happened, what's transpired today, which has obviously been the melting pot now for a while, clearly, is that we have now lost a franchise player. So, yeah, it's going to be a huge, huge loss, and it's big skates to fill for sure.
Remember this happened, like, and I'm going back to, like, remember Grattan? We had Grattan, and he'd put up loads of points with Pete Russell, and Pete Russell, like, out of nowhere, he just went, that kind of way, and you're like, right, okay. So basically, he left quite suddenly, and he was putting up points, but there was stories about disruptive and blah blah blah. So this isn't the first time something like this has happened. And Grattan was a tough guy, and he was a big character from what we heard. So, like, the thing is, I do agree with what Ross is saying. It's more than just a player. So a guy that puts goals up, he did have a bit of magic. He was very volatile as well at points. But after that kind of mad spell against Coventry last year, that kind of died down. He never really got involved as much. But when you actually look at him, he is a big character, and big characters are good for sport. You know what I mean? These are the guys that basically sell seats. These are the guys that people warm to because you can, I don't mean so much relate to them, but you feel as if you can connect with them a little bit, that kind of way, because they're very fan-faced. It'll be a big role to fill. Like, I mean, if you look at every team seems to have one that they go to as their go-to guy, like their picture boy, if you would call it that, right? But if you were to take him out, who would you then replace it with? Currently, nobody. There isn't anybody that could do that. So you're going to have to go out and find a big character with similar credentials, which they don't grow on trees. And if they do, they're not cheap. So I think it's going to be a difficult role to fill. And when they do fill it, whoever comes in is going to be always, if he's good, then great. But if he's not, it's always going to be related to, he's not what Mitchell Heard was, he's not what this. It's always going to be that setup, unfortunately, for the player coming in.
I mean, strong rumours that I've read on Twitter are that I think Belfast have got a few injuries. Apparently that there's, again, this could be absolute nonsense, and he could be away back home, who knows? But there seems to be and again, I just reread that the way the Clan worded it. It was like, mutual consent. It was immediate effect. So it's like, something's happened, right? You read between the lines there. It's like something has happened, and it seems to be, look, if he's gone, look, I'm out here again. I just think it's like this comes back to, you know, it felt like he was a guy you're building the team around and a culture builder. And I just think this puts the team back and puts Cody under a lot of pressure this year, Phil. What do you think in terms of like where this leaves us?
Leaves us short, doesn't it?
We're already short. We're already
yeah.
short. Yeah.
But like you say, it's you feel he was like, I don't know, see that when you lose somebody like that, that can start an exodus. That's the way I feel, like losing somebody like Mitch Heard. You feel maybe players came because he was already there and already signed. So where does it leave us? Like, I feel sorry. I've not got my season ticket anymore, so I feel really sorry for them because a lot of them would have been renewing after the season we had, and then Mitch, I'm sure he was the first signing that we announced for coming back. So that in itself would have been a reason for a lot of these people to renew, I would imagine.
Phil, a lot of comments on Twitter. I read a few just now, just having a look to make sure we're getting the most recent ones. People saying that's genuinely saying like, I bought my season ticket.
Yeah,
That was a big factor because he provides entertainment, like you said, puts bums on seats.
yeah.
People
Well,
also
mate,
mentioned
that
yeah,
shows you how true that is because I've not even read them, and I'm
yeah,
saying the exact same
it's
thing.
on there. Yeah.
So, aye, that's in short, right? I was going to go on and buy my tickets for Friday today, and even now, like when I heard that, I was like, I wasn't in a rush to do it. I'm not saying
No
I'm not
pun
going to do
intended
it.
there, was it? When you heard that, was it?
But do you know what I mean? It's like it's a massive blow to the franchise, like financially, out with the playing side. But as fans, we care about the playing side. What does it do to the team? It wasn't in great form, and we went down to Sheffield and beat them in their own patch. I think we're going to need a bigger amount of time to actually see because us going down to Sheffield and winning's a bit of a freakish result. Is it galvanised the team? If it has, for me, these things don't last long. See these bounce backs you get for small things that happen inside the dressing room. I don't find that or you often find there's no longevity in these things. It's a short term kind of reaction. I don't know, mate. I don't know where it's going to, are we going to, like, really, is it going to bring the dressing room together and we're going to go and have a great season? I don't know. Like, without him, I honestly don't know. I can't answer it.
See, the thing is, mate, right? See, if you look at it at the moment, if he had been performing really well so far and it goes, it's probably a bigger problem than it is now. But see, at the moment, he hasn't really been performing. So if you actually look at him, he's been, I don't mean non-existent, right? But he's not really stood out as much and he's not
So-
really put points on the board, right? So see if you're looking at him now and he's more than a point a game, like Tristan Langan, for example, at the moment, he is a bit of a clutch guy for us. He's the guy that is the go-to to put points on the board. He is in my opinion, the guy to watch, right?
I think it's a bit early for that.
No, I get that, but I'm talking currently, right?
Yeah,
And if you
I know,
look at
yeah.
what if he goes if he's going now, right? It's not as if we're losing a huge contribution as it currently stands. I know we're looking at last season and his contribution to what he pulled to it, but I just think that I mean things happen for a reason, right? Now, for all we know, we could bring somebody else in and it could set the heather on fire and then we push on and we become a different bit of team. Is the guy maybe a problem because he is too much of a big personality in a group of experienced players? There could be, I mean, I'm speculating here, right? That at the end of the day, a decision's been made, mutual or otherwise, that he's not there. So for us as supporters, like I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's gone now. That's it. Doesn't matter. Like he's
Yeah, you see some of that on Twitter. Some people saying that as well. But
See, just before
Yeah.
you move on too far for that, like you were talking about Langan doing really well in that. I suppose like the fans are we all knew that Heard hadn't had a great start to the season, but we all felt it was just a matter of time before he joined the party, and that's when you kind of felt we can like get into that middle to top with the middle pack. When Mitchell Heard comes in and joins the party, now that's been snatched away from us. Does that mean we're not going to get up? That's the way I felt personally. I was thinking as soon as Heard hits a bit of form, that's going to get that top line going. Then we've got the Langan line going. Do you know
But if you
what?
look at,
We don't have that to look forward to now.
but if you look at the difference, right? So let's statistically, so he's put 2 points up in 6 games in the Challenge Cup and 1 point in 1 game in the IHL, right? Tristan Langan's put up 11 points in 6 games in the Cup, which is 6 goals and 5 assists, right? And in the league, he's put up 4 points in 3 games. So at the moment, that guy is the guy for Clan statistically. Like, he is the man at the moment, right? So
We
what
all
I'm
know,
looking at,
Colin, you love a statistic, mate. We all know that.
no, I know, but I'm looking
So
at it. If you look at it
statistically, what
from,
you're saying is Langan is only 0.2 better than him per game in the league.
no,
Yeah.
No, not at all, Phil.
no,
You
he's got
just
1
said
point
you
in
just
1
says he's
game.
got 4 in 3
Oh, I see.
games.
Aye, in the league, aye, but if you look at
Heard's
the
got
cup,
1 in 1. So
the cup,
Do you know
in the
what? Do you
cup,
know
he's
what? I
got
think
2 points
know,
in
but I'm
6
talking about the
games.
league. I'm
I
talking
know.
about the league.
I actually think this is a bit of a moot point, right? 'Cause I know where you're going with it, Colin, but look, at the end of the day, like it's like the sample size is like a fucking amoeba, right? It's like, look, stats are great, but it's like, look, it's 6 games. You go, oh, we're not going to miss him. He's 2 points. Look, as a Clan fan, I can't feel anything positive about this at all, right? It just being blunt. This is not a positive thing. To your point, Chris, you lose your franchise. That again, whether he's the best player of the team right now at this moment in time, I don't care. He is. I believe was if there was one person you said to anyone in this podcast, right, we can't lose that person, right? What would be the most damaging, right? It wouldn't be lying. It'd be Mitchell Heard. Everyone would say Mitchell Heard because not only does he produce, and we know he produced last year and he's that guy, but he brings so much more to this team in terms of leadership, physicality, all those things. That's now gone. And I think, look, Dilling as well, let's be honest. I know that yes, we could go and find a unicorn. I hope so. Look at our track record of when we go and sign players. Like, how often does it work out? Like, that's why as a Clan fan, like, we're already short, so we're already scrambling a bit to try and plug holes in this roster. Look, the positive is we went to Sheffield and won, like you say, Phil. The negative is we got pumped by Guildford, a team out of form. Like, so this is where you're hoping the Sheffield result is not a blip and is something to build from. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Chris, you feel like
I think it's no exaggeration to say that the team was more than likely built around Mitch Heard, you know,
Yeah.
and so we talk. That's a big statement to make. I think it's on the what that means, and I don't think it's an exaggeration saying that, but he was literally a franchise guy. Now, that's not to say that the team cannot be successful. I mean, we went to Sheffield, as you know, guys, as we just spoke about, we won, and currently we're sitting top of the league. Yeah, so 4 points from 3 games is decent form in that respect, and that's without him. Now, obviously, I think, as Phil pointed out, the actual short-term effects are temporary. When you get when something like this happens, and you can get the odd result, which is great, but it's not sustainable because what we've now done, we've freed up the wage of probably our highest earner, if not the highest, certainly the top 3 earners. So we now need to bring in an equivalent quality player who's not going to tick all the boxes, which we spoke about earlier on. I think Phil mentioned you need, X, Y, Z. The likelihood is he's probably not going to be a fighter. He might be. He might be more of a sniper. Who knows? But we're talking about freeing a wage up for a very, very competent hockey player in the EIHL, a very good hockey player, a first liner for the Glasgow Clan, and probably one of the highest paid players in the league. I'm guessing, judging by his resume and what he achieved last season. So that's what we're looking for. And these things, as Colin points out, they don't grow in trees. Just because Clan might have X amount of budget, which is a high budget, that doesn't mean to say that X player of AHL quality is available as a forward. And even if even if the money suited him, is it the right time to move over, etc. And does it suit his family if he's got young kids, maybe they're in school, etc., etc. So there's so many variables which come into
Got
play
now
these days, you know.
the thing, you know, though, from the AHL, so all the step downs have happened because all the draft picks have been done, so all that kind of stuff's there. So there will be free agents around now. But the thing is, I suppose as Labyrinth, Chris, we always say, are they waiting for the right opportunity? So I'm not saying we couldn't get something, and I'm not saying we will get something either. But the way I'm looking at this now is he's gone, so we need to move forward. At the end of the day, what's done is done, and he's not a clan player anymore. So if he ever turns up back in the EIHL against us, I'll be shouting all sorts at him, because at the end of the day, that's how it works. So he wins when we booed at him when we were playing crap last year. He's going to hate it even more when he turns up and we're booing him because we can't stand him anymore.
Stranger things have happened, Colin, because you're a guy who had to retire and then all of a sudden miraculously is playing again, you know, within a month of retiring. So, you know, wow, what an absolute miracle that was. So with that in mind, it's quite possible, as you say, that Mitch Heard could end up back in the league somewhere.
The thing is, it was funny how when he left, A View from the Bridge put up that they were doing a podcast the night as well at 9 o'clock, and it's actually titled Icebreaker. So I've got that on the side here just now, just in case something pops up, and then we can tell you kind of, not exclusively, but then we would know exactly.
What's the connection with that name and Mitchell Heard? Just out of curiosity.
Well, an icebreaker is normally when you are making like an icebreaking announcement, you know what I mean? Like some play on words.
Right.
But I might be completely wrong here. I'm looking at something and maybe getting 5 from 2 + 2. But maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I said, as much as it's kind of crap and people are disappointed and everything else, it's not a clan player anymore. So we need to drop that like a bad habit and go and move forward and prove that we didn't need him. You know what I mean?
That's exactly the attitude, Colin. That's exactly 100% spot on, mate. That's what we need to move forward.
Do you think Parry will take his role more seriously now as the protecting of the team?
No. I think he fights when he has to. I don't think he's an out-and-out fighter. I think he just fights when he has to because he's a fourth liner and it's his job. I think you're looking at a guy like, you know, Hunt that Fife have got. That's the kind of type of guy you're looking at. Someone that is a bit of force to be reckoned with, so to speak. But he's not really a big points guy, Hunt.
Oh, but we need, I was just going to say that, we need like a top line player to come straight in. And I mean, like when we're watching every other team almost in the league, there is like other, I mean, we're obviously used to Mitchell Heard and stuff like that, but there's other amazing guys out there. It's just obviously trying to get them to come to split the league for one.
The other side to what you're saying there, Phil, and what Colin was hitting at, what I was even saying as well, in terms of there is guys available. However, it could be the case that releasing them was actually in the pipeline for maybe a good couple of weeks, and we've actually taken the decision now to properly announce his release because we've got someone else lined up. There's a possibility. Maybe there's someone else.
Play 2 games at the weekend is a lot, right? Because you're going down to Guildford, who always seems to have our number, and again they still have our number. And then we went down to Sheffield again. We were out in the line and we won. That's 2 games that if you could have put him in, they would have put him in. You know what I mean? Because they didn't say that. I don't know. Did they say it was sickness or something like that? I can't really remember. But at the end of the day,
did it not just say drop? It says Heard and somebody drop out. There was no.
Was it Cedar-off? Was it Cedar-off? I can't remember who it was. But anyway, but when him not being in, see, even if you knew he was going to go, you'd still throw him in because you'd still have an extra body on the lineup.
Was it Schwartz? Was it?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Remember you put it on the chat and I read it, but I never noticed Heard. I think it was Schwartz. Was it Schwartz? I can't remember.
Can't mind. But either way, but like I said, yeah, what's happened, and his thing it is we need to just move on and like look, we've had bigger players leave,
Mm-mm.
and I would have like when Fitzy left, that was massive. When Fitzy left, he was a
Mate, for
bums
me,
on seats guy.
this is a
They
bigger one than
replaced Fitzer with a
Fitzy.
better player. They replaced Fitzer with a better player, McKeever.
I know, but what I'm saying is like we've lost like how many times we came in the end of season and somebody else goes
Yeah,
here, there, and everywhere.
this if indeed some of the rumours are to be believed, Colin, about his his leaving wasn't he was told if he's told to leave rather than his decision, and if that's the case, then it reminds you a little bit of the Chris Bruton situation all those years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
another very good player, another very temperamental guy, another guy who with a lot of energy but carries a lot of potential baggage.
but see, you know Graham that always kind of comments. He's put a post on Twitter saying Mitchell Heard wears Tristan Langan pajamas.
Yeah. Well, look, you're all right, Carl. Look, it is what it is. We have to move on. Look, we'll see what this means for the season now. I think that
See, just before we move on with that, right? See when yous found that out today, right? And you'd 2 minutes to digest that. Were you shocked?
No,
It kind of made sense a wee bit in terms of how he started the
Yeah.
season and going down the lines and kind of been put onto different combinations and stuff. It kind of then started to make a little bit of sense. So I wasn't as shocked as I might have been if he was playing first line, and definitely wasn't as shocked as I would have been if he'd been playing first line and playing his potential, and then get released.
It was just obviously obviously done a lot of his Heard range of clothing was to support mental health, and he'd spoke about his own mental health in interviews gone past, and everybody knew on the ice what his temperament and stuff was like. So like you can, and I think you'd said it, Chris, a long time ago, that like managing him outside the rink as well as managing him on the ice. So like something like this happening so quick with him, like he was quite an impulsive guy. You seen that on the ice, so it didn't. It totally after obviously I get over the shock of reading it for the first time, and you have a wee think about it, and you're kind of like, well, yeah, I imagine there was a lot of times Corey had to put his arm around him and all that sort of stuff. So, I think obviously maybe that played its part in how quickly and abrupt it seemed to happen for us
I
finding
was
out
shocked,
about it.
Phil. I was shocked because, like you said, it's not like remember when we signed him. Like we all knew it wasn't like we're like, oh, we don't know. This guy seems level head. Like Corey knew, like everyone knew you're getting. We had a whole season with him last season.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm so shocked is you see in context, you see, for example, if we'd had a really solid off season, we made a lot of upgrades, we had a healthy roster, like, like I might be less shocked in terms of like, you could argue that the club is moving forward a little bit and maybe he's the baggage, like you say, and that could be part of this decision that I could be fine with that. I just think in context of like where you are right now as a club, like we're already a little bit up against it, Phil, at the start of the season. Like we've been a bit up against it, and you go, and then you take the kind of, it seems like the heart and soul, certainly from the fans' perspective, the heart and soul of that team, and a guy who is probably our best player last season. You could argue Uli, but I mean, like it was those two, right? They were the two guys. You go, what's that? We Finlay, you left him. No. I mean, yeah. I mean, Finlay might come back now, mate. You never know. You might get lucky. But I mean, we swore to be. But Mitchell Heard was like,
that's his replacement right there.
That's it. We Finlay. That's he'll bite at people's ankles. But you know what I mean? It's like I think it's like it's a guy that's just like the difference with Fitzy was that Fitzy played A role. Like Heard to me was like he's the guy that you get on the edge of your seat. Like it was like so there was so many things about Mitchell Heard like towards the end of last season we're all like we were so happy he was staying on. Like he's one I would not have been surprised if he had been poached by a bigger club the season he had. But I just was shocked in terms of like the timing, the suddenness, all those things were shocking to me. Like
just so you know what I was talking about. I was talking like he's took the decision just like, oh, I'm out here.
I don't know. Honestly,
Because
Nobody's wished
that-
him luck though. Like, see if you look at, normally when people
Colin, that
leave.
doesn't mean a thing, mate. Like,
No,
they
no,
wish,
no. But
like,
what I
Fife
mean,
wished that guy all the best. It was bad.
no, I'm
Putting him
not
up to the
talking about.
hilt.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about normally, like, if you're close with players, like all the best buddy or whatever it's going to be, or blah blah blah. There's been nothing come out like that. Normally, people will say, like, because he was posting on Instagram that how much he was training and how much he was doing X, Y, and Z constantly. So it can't be a fitness thing. It can't be an injury thing.
but
But he was,
we know on this podcast as well as anyone, the clan, like, shut that, like, people up. There's not
we will
autonomy.
never know. We will never know what went on behind closed doors.
No, what I mean
unless-
is, in terms of, like, the players have been, I think, are instructed not to engage in social posts and stuff. So
maybe.
I just think the way the wording of it, look, it seems to me that this does not, and I could be totally wrong here, it does not come off to me like Mitchell Heard has been like, do you know what? And look, I hope it's not the case. I'm in a bad spot. I'm just not in it anymore. I've got some stuff going on. Maybe it does have things happen in people's lives. It could be something like that. It just doesn't. There's I don't know. There's almost a saltiness to this. Like, I just think something's happened. I don't know why. It just comes off that way. And I don't know if that's like maybe him and Corey being butting heads in terms of direction, the way things are. Maybe he's ambitious. I don't. He's a big personality. We all know that.
If it's to come out, you'll hear it, because like with Colton Saucerman that left Sheffield Steelers, Sheffield said, "Oh, we wish him luck," because he wanted to leave, and then he put a post out saying, "Hey, I didn't want to leave. I was forced to leave." So, like, unless the players like the boy for Fife who actually come out and say, "Well, actually, guys, this is what's happened in the background," nobody will ever know. And I don't know what contractual kind of parts they have set up, because obviously being owned by a guy that's got media companies, I'd imagine the contracts would be pretty tight with regards to media and how they go across. Well, I don't mean like an NDA, but you know what I mean. So I would imagine unless he comes out and says anything, we will never ever know. And there's going to be rumours going through the mill, the X, Y, and Z, right? But again, the club will never ever say they're using the kind of a bit like Fife did. Look, we're doing this, and a couple of days later, the wee guy put a post out, and then Fife had to then say we're aware of this and blah blah blah. But it just unless they come out, like the player themselves come out and say something, we will never ever hear it.
I think if Mitchell Heard doesn't come out and say why he left, then it's Mitchell Heard's fault.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Does that make sense?
It does. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
If he's not at fault in his mind for any of this, then
You'll hear it.
You'll definitely hear it.
Too
Because
vocal a guy not
he's
to.
not the type to, especially now that he's gone. Like, he had a lot of good friends there and stuff, and he'll want to set the record straight, I would imagine. So, if you don't hear from him, then it's on him that they had to go. And this is the problem when the clan don't give us any information. What we don't know, we'll make up for ourselves. I think it's absolutely shite that that's the way they're treating their fans. I think they need to give them a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, listen, we'll spend maybe just a few minutes just, I feel normally, again, this just derails everything, right? Normally we'll be talking about the performances. It's not been great. I know we did a huge win in Sheffield, which was very unexpected, and that's just gonna be a tough place to go and win hockey games. So kudos to the guys. Obviously before that, pretty heavy loss to Guildford, who are not particularly in form. Couple of back-to-back losses against Belfast again, and doesn't put us behind the sticks in the Challenge Cup. That's looking difficult now with the way other results have gone. So I mean, all in all, not a great start, but maybe a glimmer of hope with the Sheffield performance and going into the games. It's Storm on Friday, isn't it?
Yeah,
we beat Manchester at home.
Yeah, so Storm. I mean, again, one of those games they're the home games you got to be winning. What?
They beat 5-6-1 on Sunday.
But I mean, Colin, you look again. If you think about aspirations as a club, like at home to those teams, you have to win those games, right? Look, going away, it's harder, right? So it's like you're not going to win. Go to all those places and win. You go to Fife, you're going to lose sometimes. It's going to happen, right? But I just think that's a game now. Like you say, Phil, you're hoping maybe do we get this galvanization, even if it's short term, just to get get the league form, keep that going in the right direction, and build some momentum while we try and fill some of these gaps that we have, especially now with the big Mitchell Heard shape gap that we have. So how are you feeling going into Friday, Phil?
First of all, this is league, yeah?
League business.
League. How do I feel? Obviously, first thing comes to my mind is fucking Mitch Heard, but like we can definitely win that game. If you can beat Sheffield and Sheffield. If you'd asked me this 9 hours ago, I would have said we're going to go in and we're going to do them. But now we know what in that dressing room, the conflict that's been happening or whatever's been happening behind closed doors. It can go one or two ways, like every game, I suppose, but we're hoping that we get the positive reaction, the togetherness and all that sort of jazz. So, yeah, 3-4-1 Clan for me. Yeah.
Chris, how you feeling?
Well, I think
Because Tristan.
Colin hinted on the fact that Manchester beat Fife 6-1. However, I think they were in Nottingham Saturday night and won 6-3. Nottingham then went to Cardiff the next night, I think 1-5-0 or something like that.
And Cardiff.
So Manchester had a great weekend, you know, back-to-back wins, Nottingham away from home, and then Fife. So, you know, they're no mugs. It's going to be tough, but it's saying that, and there's no obviously Heard who, because he's gone, as Colin says, and make the way forward. So I'll take 2 points by any means possible, whether that's overtime, whether it's a shootout, whatever it might be. 2 points.
Colin?
Yeah, I mean, we seem to forget as well we got Darian Kelb back this week that we totally forgot all about because of this. So we've got extra men now at the back. So we seem to have import defensive coverage. So I would imagine.
Do we like Kelb? Do we like?
I suppose it creates competition, doesn't it? So it makes the guys that are there, if he's not going to be the first.
That's not the question though. It's like, was that the signing we're looking for, boys? I don't know. When I saw it, I was a bit like,
no, not particularly. But then was it just a quick one that we could get in?
Look, I think it might just be necessity, like
defensive
you say, Colin.
Coverage. But I would expect us to announce at some point this week. If not, if we don't have someone already in mind to replace what's happened, I mean, when these things happen, like, I'd imagine Corey will be on to guys fairly quickly to get somebody of that calibre replaced. But against Manchester were pretty decent even when they came to Braehead the last time, and they'll have kind of galvanised a little bit more. So I think it'll be a little bit closer. I think it'll probably be like 4-3, 4 each at some point, maybe an overtime win, but I don't think it's going to be as cut and dry.
Goals then, Colin, yeah.
I think so. Like Manchester looked pretty decent last time they came to Braehead. Again, we started to kind of muscle them out, and just like the top end talent looked better. But like,
what was this game, Colin? Were we there?
We went to it, but that's when we went top of the league because we won the first game. I can't actually remember the score.
The game at all.
But basically, with Manchester, like Chris says, they're nobody's mugs. They're scoring goals. So, and defensively against Guildford, we were atrocious. I would have said so. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot tighter. And then obviously there's Belfast in the Cup on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very tight, almost nervy. I think there'll be I think that what's going to be more interesting in a way is like the energy in the building, right? In terms of Phil, I just think it's like a lot of fans. There will be a mixture of fans. Some of them, like Colin, your mindset, like he's gone, charge on, let's get behind the team. Other people, not saying they don't think that, but just like disappointed with what's happened and concerned and worried. And it's just maybe I'm interested to see what the energy in the arena is like, because then I think, look, it's one of those things. I think if the Clan go down a goal or two early, it could get away and fall apart pretty quickly. I think there'll be a fragility in the environment because of what's happened as well. So I think the team have really got to try and get out the traps quickly. Sure, they're going to be competitive, try and get ahead, and get the crowd energized and behind them, I think will be key. But I think it could be it'll be a relatively close game.
It's
Hopefully
3-2 the last game.
Yeah.
By the way, just
I think it could be another one. I think it'll be another tight. But I think
I think people need to remember as well as fans and stuff. I mean, these things happen in hockey, you know, and I think everyone needs to remember, you know, that the badge in the front means more than a name in the back, you know.
Good point, actually. Yeah.
The Glasgow Clan will continue, and so Mitch Heard somewhere else, and it's up to the club to find the best possible replacement, given the actual freedom or budget which should become available in his absence. Now that he's away.
Yeah, I suppose this one, I feel like it stings that bit more because we've not really experienced one like this for a long time. Like out the blue, mid-season, losing one of your best players. I'm trying to think. I'm sure it was like
Bruton was one of the
no, the one that we lost. Your mate collected all his jerseys. Did we not lose him mid-season?
Who?
And he was the guy that your American
Mike
boss.
Blanchette.
Aye, so whose jerseys
Laporte.
was it?
Nolan Laporte.
Laporte. Did we not lose him mid-season?
I don't think so. No,
I think he just decided not to come back.
I didn't come back, but I think
I don't know. I didn't check that, but
I
remember
out.
I was like really disappointed with him. Maybe it was not coming back. My memory's just playing tricks, but I think that's why it stings that bit more because we've not lost MD of that importance mid-season for a long time. Do you know what I mean?
It just that's it. It just feels again. I also think just the circumstances we're in, it feels like another blow where we've already had a few minor blows at the start of this season in terms of like signings we're excited about falling through.
Yeah.
Weird ones.
You don't miss what you never had with him, and I kind of
no, but I think what I mean is it adds to that feeling of like instead of excitement and energy as fans, you have that, and then this feels like a punch in the gut, right? Where you're kind of like God, So again, look, I'm sure we'll all be completely glued to Twitter because that tends to be where we're going to start to get. There's a lot of differing opinions. So again, nothing's clear. There's talks about Belfast. Some people are saying he's not going to Belfast. Nobody really, I think, knows anything at this time. From what I can read anyway at the moment, or concrete. But look, it's one to watch. And like we say, I think, all I would say is anyone that's going to be in the building on Friday, just try and put this to the side of our minds and get behind the team. They're going to need the extra support without Mitch in the lineup. And look, like we say, look, we don't know. Maybe there was, maybe in the longer term, this will work out well. We've got to try and hope that's the case. And in the meantime, let's hope the boys can figure out a way again to replicate what they did in Sheffield and grind out results, even if they got to grind them out. Right now, you said, Chris, I think 2 points. Don't care which way we get it. We'll just take those home games. We need to win those home games, right? We got to win those home games if we want to have ambition this year to push on a wee bit and not get caught in that kind of bottom of the table dogfight for the playoffs.
The team can make us forget about this really quickly, Ross. Like, they've got the ability to do that. So it's still a new season. There's guys that have still came and showed up for us, in my opinion, the way they should have. I know Roy got an important goal at the weekend there. So the stage is yours, my man. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. Time to go. Okay. Well, listen, fingers crossed. We'll hope for another positive result. I think the Challenge Cup, I almost don't even care about anymore. I'm just kind of like, whatever. I think let's try and keep this league form going so we've got a platform for success in the league this year. And gets us to the playoff weekend is I think what we all have said we want from this season. But listen, thanks for jumping on, Phil. I hope you feel better. Chris, appreciate you jumping on in the misty smoke of your environment there. I don't know where you are in some kind of smoky room. It's like, I love it. It's great. But listen, thanks to everyone for listening as well. And as we always say, doesn't matter who's there. It's the badge in the front. Motherfucking Clan. Let's go.